Hey guys, it's Amy here, and today I bring you a book unhaul. So I've never done an unhaul video on this channel. I generally get rid of books quite frequently, but I've built up a huge pile of books and I really scoured my shelves recently and was quite harsh and got rid of a lot of things. So I've got a huge pile of books here to show you today, and all of these will either be going to my friends, my family, or the charity shop. Because I've got so many books, I'm not going to tell you each and every one the reason why I'm getting rid of it. I'll tell you if I've read it or not, and basically if I've read the book and I'm getting rid of it, it's usually because I have no interest in reading it again, or I thought it was a pretty average book. And if it's a book that I haven't read, it's probably just because I've lost interest in reading it. So let's get on to it. I'm going to try and be really quick because I have so many books here, it's ridiculous. Firstly, we have Dendera by Yuya Sato. I'm going to talk about this one in my March wrap-up because I was reading it this month, but I DNF'd it. Invisible Monsters by Chuck Palahniuk. I haven't read this one. Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. I have read this one. Nod by Adrian Barnes. I read this one earlier this year. The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I'm sure you're all not surprised to see this one here. The Wave by Morton Rue. For some reason I have two editions of this book, so I'm actually just giving the other one to a friend. I do have another one on my shelf. Cider of Rosie by Laurie Lee. I did try and read this one. I thought it was awful though. I gave it a good few chapters and just gave up in the end. The Comet Seekers by Helen Sedgwick. I have read this one. Next we have a full box set of YA dystopian The Uglies by Scott Westerfield. I read Uglies and Pretties and then just left too long and just didn't ever go back to read the other two. I'm not too bothered about that, to be honest, because I've kind of forgotten what happened in them, so off to the charity shop these go. Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I have another edition of this book, a paperback one, which I'm keeping. This one for some reason is like the biggest hardback I've ever seen. It takes up so much room on my shelf, so it's out of here. Room by Emma Donoghue. I have read this one. My True Love Gave to Me by lots and lots of people. Another YA. You'll find a trend with a lot of these. I've got rid of a lot of my YA stuff because I'm just not reading it anymore. Haunted by Chuck Palahniuk. Another Palahniuk. I went through a phase of really liking his stuff. I haven't read this one and I didn't read the other one, and I don't think I ever will, so there we go. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. This one I have read and I do have a paperback copy of up on my shelf. I do really love this book. I just don't want extra copies and this one takes up so much room. Arcadia by Ian Pearce. I have read this one. Furthermore by Tahira Murphy. I tried to read this one, thought it was very samey to Alice in Wonderland, so gave up. The Last Illusion by Purachista Kapoor. This was one of my worst reads of last year. I can't even believe it's still here, to be honest. I usually get rid of them quite quickly, but there we go. The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. I do really love this book. I have another edition. For some reason I have got double editions of so many books, which is unnecessary, so this one I think I'm giving to a friend. The Versions of Us by Laura Barnett. I have read this one. The Wonder by Emma Donoghue. I'm sure you're not surprised to see this one as well because it was in my worst reads of 2016. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I have read this one. The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. I have read this one. Go Set a Watchman by Harper Lee. I have read this one, but I kind of wish that I hadn't, to be honest. It's Kind of a Funny Story by Ned Vicini. I have read this one. The Rosie Project by Graham Simsion. I haven't read this one. Moving on to my next big bag of books. Firstly, we have The Five People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. I have read this one. The Watcher in the Shadows by Carlos Ruiz Zafon. I have read this one. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I have read this one. Another Chuck Palahniuk. I have read this one. It's Lullaby. Icons by Margaret Stoll. I haven't read this one. Johnny and the Bomb by Terry Pratchett. I haven't read this one. The Vegetarian by Han Kang. I have read this one. The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. I haven't read this one. Clariel by Garth Nix. I have read this one. The Other Hand by Chris Cleave. I haven't read this one. Moving on to some trilogies. We've got the Maze Runner trilogy by James Dashner. I have read all of these. I'm not sure what this trilogy of books is called. The Through the Evernight? Maybe? I'm not sure. Under the Never Sky? Who knows? Veronica Rossi wrote these and I have read all of them. This trilogy by Stephanie Perkins. The first one is Anna and the French Kiss. I have read these. First book in the Winner's trilogy by Marie Rutowski. This one is The Winner's Curse. I have read this one. First book in this trilogy, which is The Madman's Daughter by Megan Shepherd. I have read this one. And finally, the last two books in this huge unhaul are Cinder and Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. I have read Cinder and I've had Scarlet sat on my shelf for such a long time, and I've told myself, and I've mentioned it in so many videos where I've been like, oh, should I continue with this trilogy or series? And loads of you have said yes you should, and I've never done it, and so it is time to say goodbye. I'm not ever going to read it, and I'm not going to force myself to, so I'm sure there is someone in the world who will love and adore, or maybe not adore, but maybe read these books and have so much more enjoyment from them than I will. So I'm looking forward to giving them on to friends, family, the charity shop, all that goodness. I wish in England we had the kind of thing that I think in like America you can like take loads of books to the shop and they give you like money back or like vouchers for the shop so you can buy more books. I wish we had that in England. Maybe we do, I don't know, not where I live anyway. So that's the end of this book Unhaul. Let me know if you enjoyed it and if you'd like to see more of these in the future. Let me know if you are absolutely flabbergasted that I'm getting rid of any of these books, or if you think, yeah, I agree with you there, Amy, you should totally get rid of those books. I'd love to know in the comments. As always, I will leave links to Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, everything I've mentioned today are down below. I hope you're all having a fantastic day and I will see you soon. Bye!